Hey, yo, everyone, what's up? Episode 7 of the B Critics coming at you live.
No, it's not live.
It's not live. You're never gonna hear it live. Because we hate you all. That's a lie.
That's a great thing to say.
We don't hate any of you. We love all of you who listen to this. But this is not live. It is a recording as it always is. And it's about movies. 3 of them. In case you haven't, listened before. If you have listened, then you already know the drill. And you know that we talk about 1 streaming movie and 2 not streaming movies. And that they're pretty much brand spanking new. And that's it. Podcast over. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Good job.
Thank you. Nah, for real. Yeah, we should probably actually talk about the movies, lest we have some very angry letters delivered to our doorway.
No one's writing us any letters.
Somebody could be writing us letters.
No.
We have a P.O. box.
We do not.
I'm just filling your heads with lies here. There's nothing I'm saying that's true this episode. So whatever I say, believe the opposite. Don't do that either.
Okay, on to the movies.
I'm all for a little bit of nice housekeeping, a little bit of nice, hey, welcome in the door. How was your day? Get the chit-chat out of the way first. I mean, not really housekeeping. That's not, I guess, the word I was looking for. But, gotta make everyone feel welcome. Ease them into it here. Our first movie is called To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Netflix movie. And it is starring Lana Condor, one of the coolest names ever, who you may know from X-Men Apocalypse as the super cute Asian protagonist who loved boys before, if you couldn't tell from the title of the movie. It's also got Noah Centineo, if that's how you pronounce his name, and a bunch of other people that you've never heard of because they don't really have fruitful careers at this point yet because they're all babies. It does have the dude from Extinction who played the alien who wasn't an alien, though, so that's disappointing. It's a teen romance movie, so you'll forgive me.
So I liked it.
Yeah, you liked it, and I sat there and watched it. I am clearly... I did watch it. Listen to how many things I'm going to say. I'm going to say so many words, and then you'll apologize for saying that I barely watched this movie.
Okay. Go ahead.
It had high school, and people liked each other.
I'm not apologizing.
Not. Okay, so the general premise of the movie is that this girl, her name is Laura Jean, she's the one portrayed by Lana Condor. She wrote a bunch of love letters with the intention of never actually sending them out or giving them to anyone.
She wrote exactly 5, and that's the number of boys that she's loved in her life. So she wrote one when she was like 10, one 12, one like 15, whatever, So 5 letters to her 5 loves.
Yep.
Really, they're her crushes because she's never had a boyfriend.
Right. One of them being her older sister's current boyfriend, who she immediately breaks up with in the movie. So, there's that. Shock and behold, wouldn't you know it, all of these letters somehow managed to find their way out to the world. And this is part of where the problems with this movie begin.
To the 5 individuals, not to the world. They're mailed to the 5 boys.
Yes, to the 5 boys, and the 5 boys see them. They weren't, published on Tumblr or anything.
That's how you made it sound.
Well, thank you for getting the misconceptions out of the way before they become misconceptions.
Somebody thought it.
Nobody thought it because no one listens to this show.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, the letters go out there and the boys discover them. And so naturally what you gotta do is get a fake boyfriend. Now, I say it that way, intentionally misleading, because that's not exactly how the plot goes, because actually, the culmination of the letters being sent out really means very little at the end of the day.
No.
I guess, it kicks off the plot, but you'd think that it would be more about focusing on everybody who received those letters, when in reality, there's only really a focus on 1.5 of them out of 5.
You'd think it'd be like a When in Rome situation.
Right, but it's not.
No, you've never seen that movie.
Can't I just agree with you anyway? Isn't that what they say, is you should just always agree with your wife? Here I agree with you and you're like, no.
That's because I know you've never seen it.
Who cares?
It wasn't a figure of speech. That's the actual name of the movie.
Yeah, I know that When in Rome is a movie.
Do you know what it's about?
I assume that it's about somebody who has to confront multiple past flings.
No, they're not past flings.
They're upcoming flings at the same time.
So basically, she goes to this fountain, in Rome, and she takes out the coins. She steals coins because she's heartbroken, and she's like, I'm taking this one and this one and this one and this one. And every coin that she takes out, the boy who threw it in there falls in love with her. The man. So the movie goes on taking time for each guy and showing, them being obsessed with her and stuff.
I assumed that it was something to that effect, being that you said that this was not like that, and that is what I expected this movie to be like. So, voila, critical thinking prevails.
Uh-huh. Kristen Bell's in it.
Now are you going to apologize for snapping at me for not seeing the movie?
No.
Okay. Well, back to this movie, not When in Rome. It's not really about everybody who got the letters. It's more like she decides to become fake girlfriend with one of the other guys to make one of the other guys think that she doesn't like him, because I guess she kind of doesn't.
He's the one that she's still in love with. He was the main one. The rest of them were just crushes, and she doesn't want him to know that because he dated her sister.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to be fake boyfriend-girlfriend with this other guy who also has something to gain from that, making his ex-girlfriend jealous.
Right. And, spoiler alert, the boy that she actually is in love with plays really barely any part in this movie whatsoever.
Yeah, he's pretty pointless.
It's like, that's my problem with it, is it's not a bad movie. When compared to Father of the Year and Extinction, yeah, it's pretty good. Again, it's a movie that feels like it could have been a full theatrical release. It feels high enough quality, shot with enough care, but it's just, it doesn't take advantage of the plot outline nearly as much as it should, and instead it turns into we're fake boyfriend and girlfriend, isn't that funny? Oh, whoops, we're not becoming fake. Who would have thought? What a shocker.
Yep. Once people are gonna be fake dating in any movie ever, they're gonna be in love.
Mm-hmm. So you're kind of met with two different plot points colliding with each other that you'd think both would be obvious. One, either she's going to get with the boy that she really loved, or B, she's going to get with the fake boyfriend. And both of them are obvious, and they obviously can't both happen, so the end result is just kind of awkward.
C, she's gonna get with the gay boy.
Yes, she's obviously going to get with the gay boy. You're right. That is the most obvious outcome. No, she's going to get with the one that the letter never got sent to.
The one that was returned to her?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, even out of the 5 letters, they couldn't even have the common decency to cover all of the characters. One of them was literally mentioned and then never played a part again, because it's just like, oh, well, I guess the letter never made it. And it's like, well, what's the point of that 5th letter then?
Are you talking about the one that was sent back to her that we just said?
Yes.
Or the other one?
Yes, the one that was sent back to her.
Oh. Well, she got a break, okay? Give the girl a break. How would you feel?
I don't care how she feels. She only exists for my entertainment on my TV. And I could have been more entertained if they explored the route of everybody getting a little bit more involved there. Because the gay guy who got the letter, he didn't play a very big role at all. Just more so, oh, I'm gay. It's like, oh, hell, yeah, of course you are. And then that was it. And then just had an occasional wise nugget of advice to give, because not only is he the gay friend, but he's also the black friend, so of course he's the one who has to give extra wise advice.
Well, they had to leave enough room for her to fall in love with one of them. They couldn't spend 20 minutes on each one.
Or they could have just not made it a super generic love story like they wound up doing.
But that's what it is.
But it can be more! Just because it's a teen romance doesn't mean that I have to intentionally condescend it and expect nothing from it.
I'm just saying that everybody who watches this movie is expecting what they're gonna get.
Yeah, and that is what differentiates okay movies from good movies. This is a merely okay movie. What do you gotta say about that?
I liked it.
Yeah, you can like it, that's fine. You can like things that are okay, but I don't know. When I'm watching 3 movies a week at least, I expect all of them to achieve excellence.
Yeah, right. That's never gonna happen.
I didn't say it was gonna happen, but it doesn't mean I can't expect it.
You know, you could watch 3 movies a week and have them all be great if you just hand-pick them.
Right. But that would kill the point here. I'm saying all movies with budgets the size of this should be exceptional.
But the point of this movie is not to be exceptional. It's to be a teen romance, exactly what it is.
And it can be exceptional at the same time, too. One of my other big gripes is, Crazy Rich Asians, which we, of course, covered 2 weeks ago, managed to be a rom-com with pretty much no idiot plot at all. Whereas this movie relies almost exclusively on the idiot plot to get things rolling and keep things progressing. Oh, I know something you don't, and I'm not just gonna not be stupid about it and tell you. I'm just gonna let it fester for the rest of the movie. Mm-hmm. I hate that. I hate that more than anything.
Well, then you can never watch a rom-com again.
I can, because Crazy Rich Asians proved to me that you don't need it.
Alright, that's the only one!
This is why I expect more from movies. I'm not just gonna give a movie a pass because, it's that genre, so it doesn't have to be actually good. No, fuck that. That's why we get stagnation in the film industry. That's why people keep releasing just complete tripe, and people keep eating it up because people don't expect enough from it. You need to expect the best all the time.
Jeez.
We're looking for excellence here.
Stop yelling.
I am providing entertainment for the people listening. If you listen to this and you thought that my impassioned rant was good, solid family entertainment, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe, share us to all your friends.
You said fuck.
Well, so what if I said fuck?
Because this whole time, every time we have a bad movie, not bad, but rated R or whatever, you're like, well, beware of this if you're gonna take your kids to it. And then you're like, listen to my nice family rant where I say fuck.
I never said this was a family podcast.
You just said family rant.
Yes, I did. It's called Juxtaposition. You ever heard of it? This movie clearly hasn't.
Jeez. What else? What else do you have to say?
See, that was the joke. I called it a family rant because it wasn't a family rant. You see, it's saying one thing and then not doing the other.
Yeah, I get it.
Too subtle. See, and this is why people don't expect excellence. I'm giving them excellence in this podcast here.
Oh, God. Get over yourself.
Was that also too subtle of humor?
Gosh, just enough.
Enough?
Yeah.
Man. Alright, pumping the brakes here because somebody here doesn't like high quality verbal entertainment.
Shut up!
Yeah, the movie is okay. I guess it's not really labeled as a comedy, so I guess I can't fault it for not being horribly funny. There were a couple lines that were pretty good, but it is kind of more intended as, I guess, a romance film.
Yeah, a nice, fun romance film to watch.
But now that I've seen a really, really good romance film, I can set romance films up on a higher pedestal than they should be.
That doesn't mean that this one's bad, or that it wasn't fun to watch.
I just expected more. Oh, hey!
You know what? Wait, no.
What?
If all movies are good, then none of them are.
Yeah. Obviously, there are bad movies. That doesn't mean I can't hope that they're better, though.
Yeah, but there have to be bad movies so that you can see the good ones. So shut up!
You're sounding just like the people who said Fred Rogers was toxic to America. If everyone's special, then nobody is.
What are you trying to make me sound like?
I'm trying to say that you are a hater of good things.
You say that every time! Why?
I'm kidding. What I was going to say before you got so hyped up. See, now who's yelling? Now who's screaming over the microphone?
That's because you say that to me every week. You don't like anything. I like lots of things.
You like To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Yeah. So what?
Now, as I was going to say before, when I was naming off the cast, I did mention that it's just full of people who don't really have any kind of notable careers. However, I did just notice the cast list also includes John Corbett, who has had a bit of a decent career to him. So,
yeah, and however, it has Mona from Pretty Little Liars.
Nobody cares about Pretty Little Liars.
Lots of people do.
If you care about Pretty Little Liars, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe, share with all your friends.
Just comment is enough, and you can tell me that I was right.
If you agree with me, comment that as well.
You just miss hearing the song every morning.
Oh God, that was like a fever dream. Be like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 a.m. I'm trying to sleep, and all of a sudden I just hear, "Get a secret, can you keep it?"
Yeah, that's when I went to work early.
I associate that song with being gruelingly tired now. That is all that theme song kind of reminds me of. Is like, oh, why am I awake?
And why are the lights on?
Exactly. Why are the lights on? What's going on? Please stop this. So that's what Pretty Little Liars means to me, is extreme fatigue. Which, so since you enjoyed this movie so much, you must have some good stuff to say about it.
No, not really.
Not even that, like, Lana Condor's cute or anything?
Yeah, she was adorable. I didn't like how she was more Asian than her sisters, though.
Yeah, that was some really bizarre casting. It's like, yeah, they got a single dad who's white. It's implied that their, mom was Asian, obviously, because she's Asian. But then her sisters look pretty dang white. Like, at most mixed. And she looks like full-blown Vietnamese, which she is.
She is full Vietnamese American actress. Yeah, she was more Asian than the other two, so it was distracting. But it was still a cute movie, and I liked it.
Really took me out of the immersion of the film.
Except, I wish it wouldn't have been like so many other movies where it's like, oh, the absolutely beautiful but nerdy dork who can't get any boyfriends and is gonna fake date the most popular guy in school.
Yeah. Oh, how... You're so unpopular, even though you're freaking gorgeous. I mean, people will be friends with you anyway just because you're good looking. Like, that's the reality of life.
Oh, but she reminded me a lot of me. She did a lot of really awkward things.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
was like, oh my gosh, that's me.
But guess what?
What?
Everyone likes you, despite that.
But I didn't go to public school, so we don't know what would have happened there. I probably would have been just like her.
I suppose, but yeah, still.
Paul, you were the first boy I ever kissed. The only boy I've ever kissed. That's how much of a loser I am. And I was 19!
Yeah, you've only kissed one boy.
Yeah, and it was you.
I've kissed like 78 girls.
Yeah, okay.
That's not true. Yeah, but everyone still likes you. She was like actively disliked by some people in this movie.
Only by that bitch who used to be her best friend.
Yeah.
Nobody else disliked her.
Because she kissed the boy she liked years ago in 7th grade. Was it like 6th grade? I don't know. It was something stupid.
It was 7th grade, and it was the boy who she fakes dates.
Uh-huh. Yeah, juicy drama here. No, I mean, I didn't hate it. Like I said, it was not bad. It's perfectly okay. I just like more than perfectly okay. Is it so bad to expect perfection?
Every single time, yeah. You're going to be disappointed all the time then.
However, I'm not disappointed by our next movie, Searching. Now,
Yeah, it was good.
Now this movie, it was unique, it was gripping, it was full of the anxiety that you'd expect from a mystery. So, backing it up a little bit here, this movie is a little bit gimmicky. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's not gimmicky in a bad way. The movie is filmed entirely using screens. So, for instance, you'll see a Windows XP desktop. You'll see a Mac OS desktop. You'll see a news flash on a TV. You'll see people using their phones, but only the screen of the phone. Everything is told through technological exposition, and it is super unique.
Yeah, it was so good. Mm-hmm. And if you see their face, it's either through their webcam or their phone camera or like a video that was uploaded to the internet and you can see them through it. So it's like, yeah, you can't see them other than when their screens see them or a camera.
Which you might immediately think that the gimmick is a crutch, but far, far from it. There were so many things where I kind of figured where the plot was going, and I thought, how are they going to tell this part of the plot only using a screen?
I know.
How?
And they did it!
They did it. They pulled it off. Everything made sense. I was a little bit concerned when the initial trailers were out that this would come out as a little heavy on the advertisement, but it really didn't, because every single website used was an authentic, real website. It wasn't like they used like some fake ones and then a real one splashed in here to be like, oh, go to tumblr.com for create an account now. No, it was, everything existed because it made sense given the context of what was being done. Every website was real, which really forced the entire story to be told authentically too. There was no enhancing like artifact JPEGs. There was no hacking into mainframes. There was nothing stupid like that. It was basically all social engineering and utilizing basic resources to get to the end goal here. The plot is, I guess I should touch on that.
How do you talk so much? How do you have all those words to say and they come out nicely?
It's a learned skill. I've been doing it all my life.
Learned?
Learned.
I think you were born with it.
Well, thank you. It makes me feel so good.
You're welcome.
After you shut me down earlier this podcast already.
Yeah.
You're bringing me right back up.
That's nice. At least one of us can talk.
Mm-hmm. The whole story, though, is John Cho, the actor portraying Daniel Kim, is a single father to his daughter Margot Kim, obviously that's her name. Mm-hmm. And she disappears from study group one night, and she does not come back, and he can't figure out what has happened to her. And so he starts, wait for it, searching. Pretty clever.
Oh,
there, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's when my words are at their finest.
Hey, is this the highest rated movie we've seen so far?
Possibly. Maybe. Crazy Rich Asians was pretty high, wasn't it?
Let me check.
Never mind this beautiful sound of mechanical keyboards here. Oh, wow, actually, dang, lower.
I think it is. It's 7.9 on IMDb.
Yeah, which is pretty high. Actually, hold on, go back to the film plan spreadsheet that we have, because I feel like there had to have been another one that was...
Maybe Ant-Man.
I guess more 8th grade than Ant-Man.
Well,
8th grade,
you
sorry,
go ahead
Bobby
and
Black
talk.
Lantern.
You go ahead and talk while I look all that up, because I'm just going to be sitting here anyway.
Okay, perfect. But yeah.
Yes,
now I'm all
Tom.
distracted. I need to know.
I'll let you know.
Oh, perfect. But yeah, so the dad, Daniel Kim.
Oh, already shut you down. Won't You Be My Neighbor's 8.6.
Dang.
Okay, so it's not the highest, but it's pretty high.
But that was a documentary, so it doesn't really count.
Yes, it does count. It's on our list.
Documentaries don't count.
I said of what we've watched. Okay, get on with it now.
I'll check the other ones anyway. But yes, he of course files a missing persons report. Tries to figure out, wow, what's going on with my daughter, and then has to help the detectives and the force by figuring out basically who his daughter was. And as he begins learning, he doesn't really know all that well who his daughter was. He doesn't know any of her friends, doesn't know what she does, doesn't know anything that she spends her money on or any of that. It's really gripping stuff, and it's all told in such a way that is realistic.
Okay, 8th grade was higher, just letting you know.
I kind of thought it would have been. I kind of dropped my words there at the end of it, too. I kind of flubbed it a little.
What you just said?
Yeah, please don't be ashamed of me.
It's okay, just keep going.
Nothing for me to work off of here from you? Nothing,
Well, I was looking up the movies.
You're right, and 8th grade is so far the highest that we've seen outside of Won't You Be My Neighbor.
Well, what were you saying?
Good to know you were listening.
You forced me to look up the rest.
Yes, I held a gun to your head and said, you better look these up.
All right, what do you want me to comment on? What?
The movie.
That's it?
Yes,
Nothing-
in
anything
general.
else?
In general.
I loved it.
Good job.
I love mysteries and thrillers. It was like an episode of SVU.
Except told in a very unique fashion.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I loved seeing the screens and stuff. And yeah, like Paul said earlier, you're like, well, how are they going to show what happened to her? Or how are they going to do this or that or whatever through screens? And then they do it and you're like, oh.
It's like, that makes sense. Of course it would be done that way, but you don't think of it. So it really forced a lot of extremely creative movie magic there. And it's just one of the most uniquely told stories I have seen in a long, long time. It's worth seeing just for that content of it. This movie throws so many false plot twists at you that you don't know what's going to happen next. Every time...
The perfect mystery.
Right, exactly. Every time you're like, that's who did it, that's horrific. It's like, oh no, they didn't actually do it. Oh, but
That's
then
what happened. Oh, no.
Nope, that's not what happened. And it just keeps happening until the very end. It's a profoundly sad movie. Everything that happens is so sad. The beginning is like the saddest start to a movie I've seen since Up. Just so sad. And the middle part is sad, and the end part is sad. There are some laughs in the movie, though. Some.
Guess which one of us cried?
It was definitely Tara.
It wasn't.
It was a sad beginning. I'm sorry that you're heartless.
I'm not. If it would have been a dog that died in the beginning, then sure I would have cried.
Oh, yeah. Who cares about the human? Who cares about the mother? Who cares about the wonderful woman who loved her daughter? Who cares about any of that? At least it wasn't a dog.
I can't take it. I don't want to watch animals be harmed. They're so innocent.
How? What about Steele from Balto? He wasn't innocent.
Steele's a motherfucking badass.
Steele's a piece of shit, and you know it.
I know, but he's like, he's him. I can't believe you remembered his name.
Hey, who hasn't seen Balto in their life? And who doesn't remember Steele?
He's pretty, though.
I remember exactly one line from that movie.
What?
It's at the very end when Seal's been exposed and the day is saved, and then that little sassy dog is like, Steele, you are absolutely disposable! That's the only line that I can remember from the whole movie.
Disposable.
Wasn't that
Did
it?
she say despicable?
No.
Disposable seems like a weird word to say.
Yeah, disposable means that you belong in the trash.
Oh.
I'm going to look it up, because I think that was the line, because it stuck with me.
Okay. Well. Don't take too long doing that. I can't be left alone here.
You can just go ahead and talk. You know.
I can't. No. No.
You can do it.
Hurry up.
I believe it. I believe in you. Go ahead, you can do it. You got this.
No. No.
Just think about something about the movie and just start talking.
Okay, besides it being all through screens, which was amazing, it could have been filmed like a completely regular movie, and it still would have been as good. It was so good.
It was disposable.
Okay.
I knew it. You're positively disposable. But yes, between the plot twists and the way that it gets you thinking one thing and then just completely messes with your perception, it's everything that a mystery should be. With the unique storytelling. We've just been saying the same three things over and over for 10 minutes now. Because, I don't know, it's one of those movies that just kind of leaves you speechless. It's so good that you don't really have anything that you feel like you need to rant about, because it's all solid. There were no plot holes. Everything I thought, oh, but what about this? They didn't touch on that. And it's like, actually, yeah, they did. Remember this scene? It's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did that in the car. What was it about? And I was like, stop, we can't talk about it.
Yeah, it was how he was able to get into all of her accounts by resetting the password because her backup email was her mom's old email. And I was like, well, that just seems kind of coincidental. And it was like, oh no, because it showed her mom setting up her accounts at the start.
It was like, I was like,
you were like that. Sorry, you figured it out.
Yeah. In the beginning, it even shows the screenshot, not screenshots, but like it shows the screen of her mom setting up all of her little accounts for her and adding her pictures, and it's so cute.
Mm-hmm. And then she dies, and you didn't cry because you don't care.
Yes, I do. Just not enough to cry.
Big baby.
You're a baby.
The movie was also, led in by a short film that the director apparently chose, and boy, that was a weird one to begin this movie.
Yeah,
this movie is so serious and full of anxiety, and the short surrounding it was so goofy and just kind of ridiculous. Basically, that's someone who snoops in on everybody and has this big trail of snooping on people until finally it all culminates in like a ridiculous finale, and it's dumb. It
was really weird.
There's a real big quality difference between that short and the actual movie Searching. So
that one felt like a commercial.
Yeah, the acting was just kind of.
Oh my gosh! You know what it felt like? That commercial in The Office. That is it Staples who does it or Sabre when they make that
Sabre? Yeah. Staples is a real company.
I know, but I couldn't remember if they were just showing, like, competition or stuff. Yeah. The one that Sabre did, remember? Of the guy trying to get somebody's attention in the store and, like, running around. And that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, just really not fitting. Which, I mean, it's fine because it wasn't part of the movie. It was just shown before in the theater. I doubt it'll show up really anywhere else. Maybe it's a special feature on the Blu-ray release or something, but
who knows?
Yeah, it was all like a brand new director who was in like a workshop that the director of Searching was doing, and he wanted to give one of them a chance for that. So that was kind of neat, I suppose. At this point, I'm just really kind of trying to find something else to talk about here, because again, this movie is too good to rant about here. All I can really say is just watch it. It's so spectacular.
Yeah, watch it. Go see it in theaters.
And this is one that I really don't want to spoil. I don't want to leave like any spoilers for you. I just want you to be able to go in and enjoy a movie that's going to get your heart pumping and is going to have you clawing at your face going, no, 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 don't be that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's about it. And And I would love to find a clever segue, but I don't have one because this movie has virtually nothing in common with our third and final movie this week. A penultimate disappointment of colossal proportions. A comedy that manages to be not funny in any way whatsoever. A unique concept that completely crushes all of its opportunity and becomes nothing. It's the Happytime Murders. Now, this movie garnered a fair bit of controversy when the initial trailers came out, with everybody saying, how could they do this to the Muppets? How could the Muppets turn into something so foul? But let me be the first to say that there are some pretty intense misconceptions here. So, fact. This movie was created and directed by Brian Henson, son of Jim Henson. Not fact.
Well, tell them who Jim Henson is.
Jim Henson created the Muppets. Boy.
Not everybody knows that.
Everybody knows Jim Henson created the Muppets. Did you know that?
No. No, I didn't watch the Muppets.
Who am I married to?
Shut up. Why don't you just be clear, okay? You have to act like people don't know things.
Okay. The word okay means...
Shut your mouth. You little brat.
Okay. So yes, fact. It was created and directed by Brian Henson. Not a fact. It is not a Jim Henson Studios production. It is under the Henson Alternative line, which does not handle any Muppet stuff. Fact. It uses puppets. Not a fact. None of them are Muppets. The word Muppet is not referred to once in this entire movie. There are no Muppets from any classic Muppet films that you will see, and every single puppet in this movie is completely original, and they are referred to as puppets. Another fact. This concept of filthy puppets has been done before, at least twice. Probably more than that, but the two most in-your-face obvious examples would be the stage musical Avenue Q and Peter Jackson's directorial debut, Meet the Feebles.
Never seen either of them.
Well, you got some homework that you need to do then.
No.
And those were both considerably better productions than the Happytime Murders is.
Have you seen them?
Yes, I've seen them.
Both of them?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I never know when you've seen things, because you just sound like you have seen everything, and then really you've only seen like 1% of everything you talk about.
That is an exaggeration, and I'm offended.
It's not! It's not an exaggeration.
I've seen far more than 1% of what I talk about.
You're a deceiver.
I am a clever boy who understands how to amass a vault of knowledge.
Okay. Keep going.
So, now that we've got all that out of the way, and now that I can assure you this is not a Muppet movie, it is not tainting the Muppet name, it does not have Jim Henson's name on it, we can get all that out of the way. Cool your jets, everyone. It's still a shit movie.
As expected.
Right. So, the concept alone could have been good. And actually, the original leaked screenplay was good. It's an R-rated movie about a bunch of murders in a land of human beings and puppets living together. The Happytime Gang was a daytime family TV show, and one by one, members of the Happytime Gang are getting completely whacked. Yeah, there you go. Good term there. They're getting iced. They're getting put under. They're sleeping with the fishes. One by one, they're all getting destroyed. And so, we are greeted by Phil Phillips, P.I., former puppet cop, first ever puppet cop, whose own quote-unquote incompetence prevented any other puppets in history from ever becoming cops because of his own mistakes.
You forgot to say why they're getting whacked.
I don't have to say why they're getting whacked yet.
I mean, it's relevant.
Why are they getting whacked then?
Because they're all about to receive some huge royalty check and it's going to be split between them.
That's right.
But if one of them dies, then it's re-split between the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells them clearly that it's one of them doing it.
Exactly.
So that's important.
That's the motive behind the killings.
So they know who they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And so we have Phil Phillips, this very noir narrator, storyteller, detective, hard-boiled, disgraced, all of this. And that alone is a great concept. I find the idea behind a hard-boiled noir detective puppet to actually be quite hilarious on paper, and it's a fantastic contrast to the typical world of puppets that you would expect of them all being carefree and happy and jolly. But execution on this movie falls flat on its face every single time anything happens. Now, I'm all for it being rated R. I'm all for it being foul-mouthed and dark and serious, because when you make them puppets, anything that you make serious automatically becomes funny because they're puppets. You don't even have to fill up with jokes. You could have told us as just a straight, like, neo-noir crime thriller, and it would have been way funnier than what they did. Because instead, they decided, well, because it's rated R and because they're puppets, we gotta fill it with as much mindless, low-quality, low-effort humor as possible. Like, oh, look, he walked into a porn shop, and there's a curtain where they're milking a cow, and there's milk flying everywhere with a camera being pointed at it. Isn't that funny?
The cow's a puppet.
Yeah, the cow's a puppet. And it's like, I mean, it's not that funny. You could have done better.
No, that part wasn't funny at all.
Oh, yeah, Phil Phillips is getting it on with a sexy client in his office, and then he starts to fantastically jizz a silly string everywhere for a solid 30 seconds. Now,
I think it was longer than that, actually.
Maybe.
It went on and on.
The concept of it being silly string is, again, clever and creative, but it just wasn't funny again. It's like, you can do better.
It'd be funny for like 2 seconds, but then it keeps going on and on and on and on and on.
Right, which, I mean, I understand the thought process there. When you pull off a joke like that, you have to either make it excessive or like nothing, but they would have done better off making almost nothing in this scenario. It's just... I mean, I'll give them one thing. The puppets were very well made throughout the entire movie. Some really funny puppet design, especially the grimy, sugar-addicted puppets. Looked pretty ridiculous, and I got kind of a kick out of them. Really good creative flexing there. The whole concept of a puppet who bleaches his felt so he looks more human and gets a human-esque nose job so he can appeal to people more. Some funny concepts there. Some genuinely clever concepts. And it's just all botched. And this is not helped by the fact that, despite what people say, I really do not think that Melissa McCarthy is funny whatsoever. I see pretty regular comments of people saying, like, oh, well, she was really good in this movie, but not so good in these movies. And I think that may start to mean that she is not an inherently funny actress, but rather has had a couple good roles. I don't think that her being funny is the rule. I think her being funny is the outlier. More often than not, she's unfunny.
What's an outlier?
Not the regular thing, but an outlying example. An example that lies on the edge of all of the examples.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that Melissa McCarthy is actually funny, generally, or not?
I think generally it depends on the movie. So, yeah, exactly what you just said.
Right, which again, it's like, she happens to have some funny roles, but when you're a truly great comedic actor, you can take a role like this and you can make it your own and you can turn it around and you can make it funny. She could not do that with this role. She couldn't squeeze out the amount of uproarious laughter that you expect from a role such as this. I guess I should mention she is the real life partner to Phil Phillips. Just to, get that out of the way right away so that there's no confusion as to what her role is here. It's a pretty considerable role. She doesn't get as many lines as Phil Phillips, which I am personally fine with. It's just... I wish there was more out of it. Again, this brings me back to what I said at the very start of this episode. I expect more. Especially from a concept such as this. You're given such an opportunity to do something interesting and funny. And I think a lot of the problem was that this movie was stuck in a pretty bad instance of development hell. This movie has been trying to be made for over a decade now. Brian Henson has been doing everything within his power to get it to become a reality. It's gone through so many different rewrites and script changes and casting changes to the point where the original concept has just kind of been buried by this ugly shell of a movie.
Because they, tried to push it out as fast as possible? Because it took so long in the beginning, or what?
Probably. I mean, I'm not sure what the exact politics were behind it, but the end result is a shadow of what people were hoping for. And it's just really too bad in the end, because, again, stuff like Avenue Q and Meet the Feebles proves that you can do it, and you can be really funny with it, and do something really unique and special. And this movie just is not special, or unique, or great. It's just... ugh. Misses the mark in pretty much every way.
Except all of the puppets move and talk and walk around very nicely.
Yes, there was fantastic puppeteering, fantastic voiceovers for the puppets. The puppeteering was top-notch. I will not take that away from the movie. The great use of green screen to get the puppets to be all bipedal, walking around, so they're not just suspended on strings or anything.
Yeah, you get to see their legs and stuff, and not just their tops.
I will also say that one of the other funny things about this is the concept of puppets being murdered in a savage fashion, so that you have a crime noir movie with virtually no violence, because everything just blows up in a stuffing explosion.
No blood, you mean?
Exactly. No blood, just puppet heads being blown off with stuffing going all over, finding the remnants of a crime scene with stitched arms and stuff flying all over and just laying in pieces. And that's a funny thing to do. That was all pretty well done. Not enough to make me laugh. I don't know if I laughed once during this whole movie, actually. There were a couple parts where I maybe sharply exhaled. But that's about the extent of how much this movie got me.
I don't really remember if I laughed either.
It's just... yeah. Just not good. It makes me upset that it wasn't good. I'm not offended by the content of the movie. I'm not offended that someone is trying to do R-rated puppets. I'm perfectly fine with all that. I'm offended by the fact that the movie just wasn't executed with the care that it should have been. This is Brian Henson's passion project of a decade, and this is the best that we got. Just terrible. Terrible.
I expected it to be this bad when I saw what it was about.
Right. But people shouldn't have to expect that. People should be able to expect a jolly good time. But that's not what we got.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wilt away now.
For 10 minutes.
Until
our episode's over.
Yeah. That's it. For the next 10 minutes, please enjoy the sound of me laying face down on the desk, slowly pooling sweat onto the point where I am falling on.
This is my desk.
And you're married to me, so you get my sweat.
No.
Any words, specifically any thoughts in the back of your mind about this movie that you just have to get off your chest?
It was kind of boring.
Yeah.
It wasn't funny enough to carry it along through the movie.
And I think that's the biggest crime that a comedy movie can commit, is being boring.
Yeah.
You have puppets and you're a comedy. There is no point where you should be boring.
Yeah, even if it was a ton of stupid humor or whatever, crude stuff, maybe it shouldn't be boring. It shouldn't be boring. It should be stupid at that point. But it was just kind of boring.
Right. Like, I say this again. I'm the guy who laughed at The Package, a movie where somebody literally sucks a decapitated dick.
That movie was funny.
Yeah.
All the way through.
It was funny and incredibly stupid. This movie was not funny and incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
It's like there's such a subtle balance on the comedy to stupidity ratio that you have to nail. You gotta be a very certain type of funny to pull off being as stupid as you are. Mm-hmm. And if you're not gonna be stupid, well, then you have to take on a different kind of funny. But as it is, this kind of funny is just not funny on any stupidity scale. It's just like a 7th grader could have written these jokes.
Yeah.
They just come across as so juvenile. Again, The Package is pretty juvenile too, but it took full advantage of its gimmick. The Happytime Murders didn't take full advantage. It made do. It was like good enough, I guess, and then just rolled with being good enough. And it wasn't good enough.
Also, The Package wasn't like super predictable, and this was.
Yeah. Right. Even the big plot twist of like who done it was pretty telegraphed from like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And didn't make a whole lot of sense either.
Gotta throw a twist in there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a mystery, but it's not a very good mystery, and you're just kind of left going, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess the day is saved, even though every single member of the Happytime gang wound up dying at the end, so no one was actually saved.
No, not every single one of them died.
Oh yeah, I guess the girl was probably still alive by the end of it. And that was it.
Well, if you're gonna see it, you don't need to now.
Yeah, and there's really no reason to see it. Like, if you're morbidly curious, I guess go see it.
But wait till it comes out. Don't pay for it.
Are you implying that they pirate it?
No, I'm implying that it's probably gonna go straight to Netflix or Amazon or something.
Probably. It's the only place that'll get any views. This should have just gone straight to Netflix, like, from the get-go.
Yeah.
It's just...
Maybe they tried. They seem to try to buy everything.
Maybe. Or maybe even Netflix was like, nah, this is not good enough for us to waste our money on.
No. They've had much worse.
Yeah. I'm still pissed off about Extinction existing. God. Again, how do you make a sci-fi movie boring? It's just like a puppet comedy. How do you make it boring? I don't know, but both movies managed.
I think a lot of sci-fi movies are boring.
Shut up. You clearly haven't seen Event Horizon.
No, I haven't.
That movie is messed up.
What's it about?
It's basically about a spaceship that they lose contact with, so they go to check it out, and then really, really, really terrible stuff happens. It's a sci-fi horror.
Okay, well then it sounds interesting.
It is.
You picked an interesting movie to tell me that all sci-fi is interesting?
Well, you seem to like the Star Trek movies well enough.
Yeah, just one of the most major sci-fi franchises ever.
You liked Interstellar a lot.
Oh my gosh. That movie was so sad. I seriously do not think I've ever cried more times than I cried in that. 3 times.
And it was
3 different times.
And it was a sci-fi and you cried.
It was horrifying.
Let's see. What other good sci-fi movies are there? There's, the original Stargate movie wasn't bad. I have a hard time thinking about
you
them,
said
actually.
all, so I'm not talking about these like major ones.
Yeah, Plan 9 from Outer Space, Spectacular, Space Mutiny, Amazing, Manos, The Hands of Fate, Can't Stop It.
How about that rip-off E.T. that Paul Rudd loves?
Oh, crap, what's it called?
I don't know, I never remember it.
Again, we're talking about great sci-fi movies, so thank you.
What? That's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, I know, and you just mentioned another great one.
You've never seen it.
Mac and Me. Mac
We
and
have to
me
put a little clip at the end.
of the podcast that has no visuals.
Yeah, of him going down the hill.
Yep, Mac and Me, great movie. E.T., great movie.
We have to watch that. I want to watch E.T.
Men in Black, a spectacular sci-fi series. Can't stop it. We'll never be able to stop it. Star Wars, except for, literally half of them, great movies.
I don't really like most of them.
Which ones do you like? And don't say Attack of the Clones.
But that's my favorite. I don't like sand.
It's coarse and rough and irritating. It gets everywhere. And yeah.
It's so funny.
Next thing that you're going to say is that you loved The Last Jedi.
Ooh, which one was that?
That was the last one that came out that I hated.
I don't really remember what happened.
They go to the casino world, and Finn almost sacrifices himself, but he doesn't. Because, can't have a character actually conclude a character arc by doing anything meaningful.
I just don't remember anything about that one, but I do
'Cause it
remember.
was shit.
But I do remember that I liked Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One was good. I don't know why everyone talks shit about Rogue One. It was a hell of a lot better than The Last Jedi, and if you disagree, you're wrong. Rogue One is way better than The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is hot trash, and The Force Awakens isn't that good either. I said it. Also, I think The Phantom Menace isn't nearly as bad as people say it is. I hate little kid Anakin, but Darth Maul was badass. The whole... The whole 3 or 4 different action sequences going on at the same time was awesome. Pod racing is cool. I got Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for the N64 just downstairs. Spectacular game. So Episode 1 provided us with some good things. Episode 2 was trash. Episode 8 is trash. Episode 7 is borderline trash. God, why is Star Wars so inconsistent?
I don't know.
You're supposed to have the answers.
No.
Let's ask George Lucas, even though, he wrote some of the worst Star Wars movies of all time. Like Attack of the Clones.
But they're so funny.
God, they're not supposed to be funny. That's the problem.
I know, but I like them because they're funny.
There's serious sci-fi movies that are funny, and the Happytime Murders is a stupid comedy that isn't funny. Everything that's wrong with the world. All wrapped up.
Isn't there oh yeah, on Reddit, prequel memes?
Yeah.
Right? And there's one like every single day.
Prequel memes, that's right. There was a subreddit called r/thing that allowed people to place a single colored pixel on this gigantic canvas like every 30 seconds or so, or like every minute or something like that. And prequel memes gathered together to create this gigantic retelling of of the Emperor's speech to Anakin. Like, have you ever heard the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise? And it was like this paragraph, and they wrote the entire thing on it. I'll have to show you later because it was one of the most ridiculous group efforts ever. Anyway, that's the final thought there on this episode. We kind of got to wrap this up here.
Yeah, the final thought on the episode is Star Wars.
Exactly.
Prequels.
To all the boys I've loved before, good enough.
It was good, watch it.
It was fine. Searching, exceptional movie. Definitely watch it.
Go see it in theaters so that you're not distracted by anything else.
Yes, see it as soon as you can. Fantastic movie, fantastic exposition. The Happytime Murders, hot trash, avoid.
Don't see it.
Don't see it. And that's what I got for you. Thank you so much for listening to the B Critics, episode 7. We'll have more for you next week.
Spooked!
We're coming at you with the after party, Jennifer Garner's Peppermint, and the movie... What?
This is subject to change because I haven't double-checked it yet. But the one that's not going to change, Spooked?
The Nun. The movie that has everybody on YouTube pissing their pants. More about that next week. If we see Peppermint, then great. I didn't lie. If we don't, well then, sorry. But, I don't care about that movie anyway. So, again, thank you for listening. Have a great one.